My source told me that these big white envelopes, you've seen these envelopes for 100, this is a monthly payment from call centers.
Wow.
So there were 100,000 in each, and they were just stockpiled in a safes.
First, so they take your reputation, destroy it, then they take your money. And when you are broke, then they take your freedom.
There is a suggestion from Supreme Leader, God bless his name, that Rukhadze could be next.
Their minds and hearts are occupied with this idea that when they will knock on their door.
Pricing Bidzina may change burning to hanging, but not much will change for the business.
With this positive note, let's call it a day, Nodar. Hello and welcome to Talk Georgia Question Time. With me, Giorgi Rukhadze.
And with me, Nodar Kharshiladze.
This is a special edition of Talk Georgia where Nodar and I answer your questions about Georgian and international politics.
And it's brought to you by Droiba Media Group, trusted source of information and analysis.
And GSAC, a think tank providing comprehensive political analysis of Georgia and wider Black Sea region, also academic and practical training for postgraduate students and mid-career professionals.
Okay, let's go to question, because we have a key event this week. So
Okay, thanks to Lizzie, we have this question, which runs like this. Do you expect Irakli, Gharibashvili and Grigol Liluashvili to go to prison for a long time? And why is Bidzina doing this? They were both loyal to him. What message does this send to Georgian Dream officials and businessmen? Come on, Nodar, start. You are former Deputy Interior Minister, and this is your field of expertise.
okay, so now Gharibashvili's case is very strange legally. He's charged with legalizing, he's charged of dodging the taxes, I guess, and legalizing incomes, but he's not charged, but a prosecutor's office is not asking where this income comes from at first place. So he legalized some incomes, but what was the source of this income? Because he was never a businessman officially, he never had any businesses to have this income.
Why he's saying that, in between his premierships, he was doing business?
Yeah, but this income dates during his premierships. Okay. So, and during his premiership, he was on an executive position of the bank. He was not active businessman. So, anyway, this is the very strange case. I think what happened is that they humiliated him totally. They destroyed him. His image. He had to admit, and he did, his guilt. And in order to do not overdo it and to do not be very harsh and do not anger the supporters of they let him go home. So, in my opinion, he will not be arrested for the moment. He will retain home. This case will drag on, but it will be open case.
Yes, obviously. And because he admitted guilt, and it carries from 9 to 12 years in prison.
But they will not go to the trial, and it will be open case. On Liluashvili, I think Liluashvili they didn't arrest yet because Liluashvili is smarter, and he has some information on insurances hidden somewhere, so they are trying to approach him more carefully. If they solve this issue with this some exclusive info which he has stockpiled while he was there, and which he allegedly has hidden in some different places. So in case of his arrest, they will be released. Unless they can't solve it, they won't arrest it. But if they manage to solve this issue, he's not Gharibashvili, he will be for sure arrested because he is directly going to prison. Now, what will follow? That there will be arrests now in order to justify Gharibashvili's demise. They did some prequel. Okay, they arrested Juta, but there will be a sequel as well. So in the sequel, there are lots of officials now listed who worked for him in different positions, in administration of government, in ministries, as a ministers, deputy ministers. They will be arrested now as well. So this now is brewing.
Yeah, obviously, he wouldn't be doing all those illegal things himself because he was prime minister.
And some businessmen, arrested as well. Now, they were both loyal to him. Why Bidzina is doing that? What message does they send to Georgia? Well, loyalty is a fluid thing. I mean, let me tell you one story when God asked him to sacrifice his son to prove his loyalty. Yeah. Well, so here a story goes, as inside info goes, Rukhadze managed to convince Bidzina, and now proven it, that Gharibashvili was stealing from him in one way or another. So that is not loyalty. Gharibashvili was loyal to idea, but he was disloyal when it came to pocket. So I think, and for Ivanishvili, yes, dancing with enemy is very dangerous and despicable, like what Salome did or what Georgi Margvelashvili or Gahare. But stealing from him, that's a deadly sin. I mean, come on. That's why, unlike Gharibashvili, unlike the Margvelashvili, Gharibashvili is now destroyed totally. But here's the question: is he? Because he still has a large number of supporters, in their eyes. Now, look from Georgian Dream supporter eyes. He's not charged with stealing money. He's just charged with legalizing. So they are asking, and I spoke with two of them yesterday. Is that all? That's why they humiliated such a great person? That he was what it was? He said he didn't steal money. He just legalized money already. What's a big deal if he was doing business? He was employing people. He was doing some GDP or generation. That's their argument. If he would be charged with stealing billions and I don't know, drug trade or something, then they would say, oh my God, he turns out monster. But now, in their eyes, why? Is that all? I mean, just legalizing it? Because Georgian Dream supporters, they are more tolerant to corruption, okay? But Gharibashvili is not even charged with corruption. No. He charged, so this is...
legalizing illicit income. This is what he's charged with at the moment.
And what people took as a catchphrase is a legalization. So they say that, okay, he legalized some money which was his anyway. So what's the big deal here? And that's why his supporters now, and they're in numbers in Georgian Dream, are more angry, I think. It's backfired. Than they would be if Gharibashvili was... And Gharibashvili admitted, yes, that was my money. And they said, you see, he is even admitting it. I mean, it's not corruption. It's just his money, which he... And everybody does that. And it's not a big deal in every country, they say. So I don't think that this is over.
No, I don't think.
Now, other thing is, will Gharibashvili find the courage to step up for himself? So far, he didn't. He could not. He was miserable. And with this, his dialogue in the courtroom when he asked journalists, when he just judged maybe half-jokingly journalists to exchange places. You know that, yeah?
Say again? I was carried away.
Don't be carried away. We are speaking here. So in court, there were journalists sitting back to him.
Right.
And they asked him, how are you, Mr. Gharibashvili? And he said, do you want to trade places?
I know that.
So that shows a very light humor, but mostly he did not manage to stand up himself. He could. He was the only one who could. And he did not. So, I don't know. Maybe his test was here that he did not resist it. And that's why he was not to prison. So, in a way, God forbids some things for him. But he can still remain a free man within the containments of the they took his passport. He can go outside, but he was not a traveling type anyway, so he was in Georgia mostly. So now Liluashvili is smarter, more shrewd, I would say, and he has the stockpiles and things. And this big white, my source told me that these big white envelopes, you've seen these envelopes for 100. This is a monthly payment from call centers.
Wow.
So there were 100,000 in each, and they were just stockpiled in a safes. So this is how they collect this money from call centers. Each call centers have to pay 100,000 to exist, plus some royalties based on how many employees they have and how many operations they conduct. 100,000 is a base payment. So this was this 100,000, sometimes a bit more.
But I mean, who was receiving those payments? Like, was Liluashvili?
Liluashvili, yeah, they took it from Liluashvili safe. These envelopes ready to do. So here we go. I mean, I think this is a hunt season is just beginning. Bad people, very bad and very jealous people, are saying that there is a suggestion from Supreme Leader, God bless his name, that Khaladze could be next. Now, Kobakhidze has a good relationship with Khaladze. Actually, Kobakhidze supported Khaladze during this mayor's election because Gharibashvili wanted his own candidate to be a mayor before he was replaced.
Yeah, but Nodar, I mean, just hitting existing Tbilisi mayor would be, I mean, different story. I'm not saying that it is not possible. Everything is possible for the supreme leader, obviously, but Gharibashvili is a different case. So he's been out of politics for a year. But now when you're doing it with existing Tbilisi mayor and you're saying that he is corrupt, I think that would complicate things at least seriously.
They will start slow.
Call Bidzina.
Yes. With Gharibashvili did not start with him, did it? It started with lower echelons. They arrested some MOD guys, they arrested ministers. So they will start slow. Now, first signs, if it's happening, will appear after arrest of some bureaucrats in Tbilisi's mayor. So if they start that, then that's the deal. Because that's a classical example, actually, as a former interior official. I can tell you that you go for a lower fish and then make them testify for a higher ups. And this is a very, very standard case. Nothing surprising here. There is a question: what happens with business elites now? They were very fruitfully cooperating with Gharibashvili in many things, like owner of the Silknet and others. So what can happen with this Namuradze guy who fled to London, then came back? What's going to happen with them?
Filled Tbilisi with those ugly buildings.
Yeah.
Half built, by the way.
So, ideally, from the legal perspective, they should also be charged. And then some of them might be proven guilty, some of them not, but they should be charged by a prosecutor's office. Because that's where all the evidences lead. Gharibashvili was not legalizing this money alone, as you said. He had all this network of the people. So, we need to see that. And in the last part, I think, let me see, a businessman and, there was a time when just prizing Bidzina was enough for him to say that you are loyal. And many people practice that. And then in parallel, they were making lots of money. Now I think Bidzina understood that this is just smoke and mirrors, and he doesn't trust the words anymore. He is going after money now. And I think that there are lots of people to be worried because
and willing to pay.
Today, at today's scenario, if again I will repeat this theme from our previous program, if Gharibashvili, former prime minister, twice, one of the key, after Bidzina, arguably key person in Georgian Dream. That was. Year ago, if you'd ask me who is the number two, without doubt we would ask. If he can be humiliated, arrested, his house and apartment can be raided, and then he could be charged, then who is safe? I mean, you're saying Khaladze is acting mayor, so what? They will do new elections, or they could not do elections this time, or deputy mayor will automatically assume. What's the problem? What's the big deal? Nobody say. That's the perception. I mean, that's the purge mentality now. The Kobakhidze brought to the Georgian Dream that, in the night, you hear the footsteps and you don't know it's your neighbor's apartment or yours. They will knock on. So that's the same for people like Namuradze, for people like Silknet guys, the Giorgi, and for people like this Rukhadze brothers and all this, who were so keen to be friends with Georgian Dream. So it has a price. And now this price will have to, in the end of the day, these people will get into the trap they tried to avoid for so long. They were supporting Georgian Dream against the opposition so hard, not because of ideological ideas, not because they like this pro-Russian propaganda, which now creates images of the deep state and the global war party. They were concerned with personal safety. If opposition comes to power, what happens to us? Opposition didn't come to power. They're still in opposition, but their personal safety is now more in question than it would be, because at least changes could ensure some more reliable courts. Now courts are just one branch of the Georgian Dream party. So it's a very sad story, but I'm not shedding any tears.
Okay, I agree mostly with
Mostly?
everything
How dare you?
that you said, yeah. There are a few dimensions, obviously. I'll start with, again, classical 3 stages when the purges occur, basically. And, well, yes, the Gharibashvili's case and Liluashvili's case are 2 different cases, I would say, definitely. And I think that they will develop differently. But classically, when somebody has a certain reputation and a political past and political future, it happens this way. First, so they take your reputation, destroy it, then they take your money. And when you are broke, then they take your freedom. So when you said that, well, Gharibashvili might not go to prison right away, etc., I agree. But that's now it's first stage. So he will go to prison at the third stage unless he does something about it. And as you mentioned, unless he stands for himself. But when you're going through the stages, as you go, it is becoming more and more difficult. So if you want to defy, if you want to stand for yourself, then you have to do it in the first stage, before you still have your reputation and popular support. Because when it's gone, then it will be very difficult. So I think that Gharibashvili's case in the first stage. Now they are taking away his reputation, tarnishing him, corrupt, etc., etc. And even if tomorrow Ivanishvili is gone, and there is new ruler from the opposition or somebody he appoints or blesses, Gharibashvili has no chance because he is already corrupt, right? And his reputation is beyond recovery. Okay, once the whole job is done about destroying his reputation. Second thing is that I agree with you like Gharibashvili and Khaladze. These were 2 excellent choices to satiate this political hunger for corruption. So what really happened was that, the biggest problem for Bidzina is the public hunger for change him. He had to create alternative public hunger.
Very good point,
Yeah, which the topic that was chosen was corruption, basically. And when you're doing that, what you need to do is that you have to starve people for some time, and then you have to feed them with some good food. And that food is a public figure for Gharibashvili. But in terms of corruption, there were 2 favorites. Gharibashvili, who was corrupt without, you don't need to have a magnifying glass to guess that. I mean, everything was obvious. This story about his son, just flying his son with a private jet to his university in the United States, or the wine factories in Kakheti and all that. I mean, that was clear. And also Khaladze, which every step, I don't know, whatever he does, he basically displays corruption. Okay, so and Bidzina had to choose between the 2. Okay, and I think that because Khaladze succeeded in running in the elections and become a mayor of Tbilisi, the obvious choice would be Gharibashvili.
I think Kobakhidze led to Gharibashvili.
Could be that too. I'm not ruling out that possibility, but again, he was an obvious choice. And I think from the very beginning, when Gharibashvili basically stepped away from politics, he should have known then this was coming. But what surprises me is that, well, he didn't do anything to get ready for this. Yeah. He had quite a lot of time for that.
One thing to just clarify this is, and you can believe it or not, I think it was other way around. You're right in logic. They did not go with public arrest because they wanted to create a public perception. No. First was like that, and I know it for sure. Kobakhidze went to Bidzina and said, here is the list these people have stolen from you. Mm-hmm. So there was an option to go quiet about it, to summon them, to ask them to bring the money, which they started to do with some of them. Mm-hmm. But then Kobakhidze suggested, why don't we make it public so we can satisfy also people's needs for that? So they decided to kill two birds with one stone. Mm-hmm. So instead of privately summoning people and asking money, which was actually dilemma with Burchuladze, former defense minister, mm-hmm. first instinct was to just privately ask him, and same with Liluashvili. Liluashvili was also visited by some people, and then suddenly Kobakhidze convinced Bidzina that it's better to go public to show to our own people to do it. And that's why they decided to turn it to campaign. Mm-hmm. And it was successful in a way. Well, maybe it was, but let's see how it goes.
But yeah, let me continue about the second part of it, the message. Yes, clearly this is the message to the Georgian Dream members of parliament, office holders, businessmen, people connected to that, that you see, what Bidzina can do to someone who's been, again, loyal to him, praising him with beyond any borders. He was a toy to Bidzina's children for all these years, somebody who was close to Bidzina's family, etc., etc. And then, when time comes, when Bidzina needs it, he can do this kind of thing to Gharibashvili. Imagine what he could do with Papuashvili, for example, who is a nobody, or Dinaradze, or Ladobozhadze, for example. So, I mean, that's very scary, okay? That's one thing. And the second thing is that, again, these people are now thinking to themselves. Their minds and hearts are occupied with this idea that when they will knock on their door, they created this reputation for themselves, being somebody important already, having a couple of millions, guaranteed life, etc. And now they realize that it is falling apart. It means nothing. And with a single knock on their door, that could disappear. And plus, their freedom. They can end up in prison. And now all of them are thinking, basically, what should they do? I mean, of course, the message is to scare them to ends, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that we also can suggest what can be done about it. I don't think it is a dead end. And these people now who are scared stiff, they can compare Gharibashvili's situation to, you mentioned the former high-ranking officials who defied Bidzina. For example, Gharia. Well, now, who is in a better situation, Gharibashvili or Gharia? Mm-hmm. Gharia is in Germany working for Lufthansa or something, meeting German members of parliament once a week, eats this pork knuckle every week, drinks good beer. Of course, he is an exile, but whatever.
Honorable exile.
Honorable exile. And now take a look at Gharibashvili. Take a look at Liluashvili, or take a look at some of the others that we don't see. For example, Gomelauri. I don't think he's in a better situation.
He has a problem with alcohol consumption.
Right.
Yes.
Or even Salome Zurabishvili, for example, who defied Bidzina. Or some other people, basically. Now, I think, and that is a very good lesson. I think that for those who are now thinking what to do, there is no good solution to them.
There is nothing to lose. Standing up at least gives them a chance.
Not only standing up. The first thing, if they lay low, they are done. The knock can occur at any moment, right? If they start helping, let's say, the protest, or let's say the opposition forces, or some, resistance, the stronger the resistance becomes, less, the busier the Bidzina will become. And he will have less time and resources for purges inside. He will have to concentrate on the external threat rather than internal threat. So I think that one way to survive is stealthily, secretly, whatever, start with the information, with resources. These resources will be taken away from you anyway. So start helping the resistance.
That's what Liluashvili did, actually.
That can save you at least time and make Bidzina busy. Second thing is what you said, that publicly defying him. That is also seems dangerous, but it's not more dangerous than laying low. Okay, if you publicly come out and defy him, for example, if Gharibashvili did it a year ago,
or maybe months ago.
If I were him, I would have done that 6 months before all this would start. I would defy him and would maybe start a political party or join the opposition or whatever.
Rukhadze's incident was a good moment to do that. When he almost died there, he could come out and say that this is wrong.
Okay. Yes, exactly. So I think that the solution is there. It is tough, but still there. And I'll tell you, when Bidzina is gone, and this time will come, he won't stay there forever. And somebody new from the resistance most likely will come, or maybe Bidzina blesses someone. Okay. In that situation as well, it will be difficult to continue. But if you help the resistance, or if you defy him publicly, that could be your ticket in the post-Bidzina's period to continue almost as normal, right? Otherwise, again, you will be purged either by Bidzina, or whoever comes after Bidzina, they will purge you. So I think that the best way to survive this crisis is to help the resistance and defy Bidzina, or one of them at least.
You said about supporting them. This is an interesting story about...
But just one, the last bit. So, Bachiashvili's story is an also interesting case. What Bidzina is saying now is that Bachiashvili owes him almost $1 billion in bitcoins. If Bachiashvili spent at least a little fraction of this money to support the resistance opposition before the elections, I think he would retain at least half of those things, wouldn't end up in prison.
You're making a valid point, and to just in parallel, and actually this reinforces your point, what happened. Not the first part, but the finale. The finale was disastrous for everybody. There is a strong rumor, which I know that this is true, that Mr. Liluashvili was doing exactly what you said. He started to interact with these 4 October revolutionaries, and he was feeding them information, giving them resources. He was very actively engaged with them. But last moment, some people from Georgian Dream contacted him, the high ranks. I think it was Rukhadze himself, and told him, okay, we know you are doing it, stop it, and we will not touch you. And he did that. And here you go, 2 weeks. Me of 2 weeks passed. His house was raided. Now he's waiting to be charged. He believed these guys and he lost. That's why. But he still kept some information, things, some safe houses and things like that, but it won't save him. So now question is, what he gained by withdrawing his support? Nothing. He ended up being cheated. But these people are cheaters. They will say anything to calm you down at the moment, and next day when they feel strong, they will come after you. There is no thing. With Gharibashvili again, this officially unsuccessful suicide attempt was a very good moment to come out and start speaking about. He could do very smart thing. He could start speaking against Rukhadze, not about Bidzina, saying that he's a bad guy. He almost died but he didn't. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. the sitting there doing nothing will bring you no results. Standing up or supporting somebody doesn't guarantee you anything, but at least gives you a fighting chance. And that's the difference. Do you want a fighting chance, or do you want to go down as Mr. Burchuladze, whose only argument during the trial was that, I'm father of 8 kids. That was the only argument. Yeah. I mean, that's a sad reality, but this is the reality of Georgia. And all these businessmen who are now in Georgia, and who I'm sure they are not listening to this podcast, not in English, they will share the same fate. Because once this can of worm is opened, you can't put them down. Gharibashvili was just a beginning, and very strong beginning. I mean, this prelude to him with the 3-4 guys were okay, but I mean, he is arrested. Who the hell are you?
Yeah, absolutely. And final point. I just when you talked about Liluashvili, it reminded of me a story. Do you know how the Spanish handled the Indian tribes when they kind of conquered America?
Oh, you mean the Cortes conquest of Aztecs?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he pitted them against each other. I mean,
but not only that. So what they would do, they would kidnap somebody important from them.
He kidnapped king.
Right, king, and then they would tell the tribe. Okay, so the room he is sitting,
fill it with gold.
Fill it with gold, and there is another room, and fill it with weapons, whatever you have. And here's the deal. So we will let your chief out, and we will let you leave as you wish.
Mm-hmm.
And these people would bring a lot of whatever they have and whatever weapons they had, and would bring this to the Spanish. And what Spanish would do then?
Kill them all.
They would kill them all. First, they would kill their king.
Yep, they did.
In
public display.
In public display, and then kill them all because they would have no money and no weapons. Right. I mean, that's the same.
What happened there actually?
That is happening here in Georgia.
Yep. Story is fascinating, and again, to reinforce your point, they did kidnapped Montezuma, Aztec king. And then his son, actually. And ransom was paid. But they said, we don't care, we're going to burn you. And guy even agreed to become a Christian, which was the ultimate goal, actually. And Spanish says, okay, fine, become Christian. We're going to hang you then. So that's, I mean, pricing Bidzina may change burning to hanging, but not much will change for the business.
With this positive note, let's call it a day. Nodar, thank you, and thank you for watching us and listening to us. Don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel or Spotify channel, and we'll see you next week.